Hi again guys, if you're wondering where I've been, check out my update video and I'll try and link it below if I remember, and that'll explain everything of where we've been and who this little lady is. But this is Willow Hope. It's not hyphenated, people do ask me that quite often, but yeah, Willow Hope Cook. And she is 7 weeks and 6 days old today. No, 5 days old today. And so she's 8 weeks on Monday, basically. She was born on the 24th of November 2014. And she is absolutely beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. She's absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to show you some up close. I'll do my birth video and then I'll do an all about Willow, and I'll tell you all about her and stuff as well, and breastfeeding and everything we've found out so far and things like that. So, last time you guys saw me I was 19 weeks pregnant, so 20 weeks ago we went there, we found out we were having a girl. A couple of weeks after that we decided to name her Willow Hope. And I said the reasons in the other video as well, why we called her that. And she's just so cute. And the pregnancy went on to be generally quite fine. We had a few issues with my blood pressure. It kept spiking and going back down, spiking and going back down. And towards the end, the only other issue we had at like 19 weeks, I managed to get a urine infection which made me severely ill. I couldn't keep anything down and I had to be put on antibiotics for a week, which is always fun. But I've never had a urine infection that's hit me so hard as what it did when I was pregnant with her. So that was fun, but other than that, my pregnancy was absolutely fine. She was kicking about. We did have a little scare at 28 weeks, I believe. She wasn't moving a lot that day, so we did what we had to do and go down into the maternity assessment unit, and they had a little listen in and she was absolutely fine. She was just a bit sleepy that day. I think the day before I'd been really busy because I'd had my glucose test and I had also had a midwife appointment and I'd had some injections as well. I think I'd had the whooping cough, I believe, or my whooping cough vaccination as well. So I'd had a really busy day, and actually it's probably that she was just tired because I was up, down and about, and and then we got to 37 weeks and I started having contractions, and that went on, the contractions every 5 minutes, can I point out, and I had them for 4 weeks, day and night, every 5 minutes contractions. I was exhausted and I kept going to the hospital. I went to the hospital about 6-7 times, no, maybe not many, like 3-4 times, and I got sent home every single time. One of those times I was sent there by my midwife because she was concerned about my blood pressure, but other than that, it was fine. Then the Friday, my contractions were going to every 5 minutes and they were getting more intense, like I couldn't walk when I was having them, and they were definitely different to the every 5 minutes contractions I had like 4 weeks earlier, so they were getting worse. So me and Rob went to the hospital just on our own, went in, got into a on the midwife led unit, which is what I wanted, and there was a lovely room with like a birthing ball and like mats on the floor and different apparatus that you could give birth on or use while you're in labour, and that's really what I wanted because I really wanted an active birth, and it's something I gave loads of thought into, and that was what I wanted. And then my blood pressure was still a bit high, so I got sent round to, basically they said I was only 2 to 3 centimetres dilated, and they said my blood pressure, so they had to send me home, but my blood pressure was too high, so they couldn't send me home. So they had to send me round to the triage in the maternity unit, and they monitored my blood pressure for a little while, and then they sent me home. I was not best pleased. Then I kept having these regular intense contractions all the way through Saturday and all the way through Sunday. And then on Sunday I hadn't felt her move again very well, so we rang up the hospital and they said, well, come in and get checked. By this point I was 8 days overdue, so I was miserable as well. But my mum and Rob seemed to know that actually something wasn't right, because I couldn't eat my Sunday dinner, and that's not like me because I like my food. And then following that, we went to the hospital. They checked me. I was only 2 to 3 centimetres dilated, but they could see that I was contracting regularly, still every 5 minutes. They did a trace on her, she was absolutely fine, but they were a little bit concerned because my blood pressure kept spiking again. And so that was when they decided, I got there about 3:30 and I was still there at 6:30 having monitoring done, and at 6:30 they came and told me, right, you're 2 to 3 centimetres dilated, we are going to induce you and break your waters, so go out, go get something to eat, go for a walk because it might help you dilate a bit quicker, and then about 8:30 come back to us, we'll break your waters and we'll get this baby here. And I was like, yes, thank you, someone was listening, thank you, I just want to have my baby and I want to go home with my baby. I was not happy, I did not want to leave that hospital again not having my baby. Because it was starting to get really tedious to get back and go, everyone go, have you had your baby? No. So we went and got something to eat while I was still contracting every 5 minutes, which is horrendous. Like I feel like I traumatised some of the women that happened to be wandering around the maternity unit, because I was like, oh, my contractions, and then I was fine. And so then we went to got something to eat, came back, 8:30, they broke my waters. I had my 2 birthing partners, which were my mum and Rob, obviously. Rob stayed with me, my mum got sent home until I was in established labour when she got told she could come back. And then they kept us waiting, they weren't able to break our waters in the end till about 10:30. At 10:30 they broke my waters. And they said my contractions would get really intense, and I said, well, it's fair enough, I'm kind of expecting that, I'm hoping that that will progress things along quite quickly. And so they broke my waters at 10:30 and we got moved on to labour and delivery, and me and Rob were like, we got left by our midwife because she was quite happy. They decided that they weren't going to check me again until 4:30 in the morning. And then actually they changed their mind and went, no, we'll check you at 2:30 in the morning because you've had reduced movement, so we'll check you again at 2:30. So they left me in my room and I was absolutely fine. I was still contracting, my contractions were still very intense, and I was mooing and moaning and groaning. And poor Rob, he had to put up with me for 3 hours just whinging and moaning and going, oh, I can't do it. I was in the bath, out the bath, I tried everything to try and soothe it. I couldn't sit down, I couldn't stand up properly, everything hurt. And then Rob happened to look at the TV for 2 seconds and I slapped him and went, pay attention to me! I did apologise afterwards, I felt awful. But he should not have looked at TV, he should have been paying attention to me. I was his main priority. About 12:30, about 1:15, 12:15, I was sick all over my bed because I'd been leaning over the bed during having a contraction, and I just threw up everywhere. I rang the bell and I apologised profusely to this woman, to the healthcare assistant that had to come and clear up my sick, and I was like, oh, I'm really sorry. And she was like, it's fine, it happens, it just means you're progressing. I was like, okay. And then I asked her to go get my midwife because I hadn't seen her since 10:30, since she'd led us into this room, and I was like, I want some pain relief, and they went, okay, well, we'll get her to you as soon as she can. Anyway, 45 minutes later, our midwife came in, and I was like, I want some pain relief, I can't cope, I want my gas and air. And she goes, I can't give you gas and air until you're in established labour. And I was like, well, check me then and make sure that I'm in established labour. She checked me, and she went, oh, I can definitely give you some gas and air, I can definitely give you some pain relief because you're 6 centimetres dilated. And I was like, well, I could have had that gas and air like 3 hours, 2 hours ago. But you can't tell when you've dilated, and obviously when you dilated and when you could have been given pain relief. But I suppose if I'd kicked up more of a fuss, then I could have been given it a bit earlier, but never mind. So I was on the bed with the gas and air, and because she just checked me, and she goes, I'm just gonna check baby's okay. And that was the scariest moment, because as I was contracting, her heart rate was dipping, and it was absolutely terrifying. And she goes, right, I've got to press this panic bell on the wall, and loads of people are going to run in. And I'd had 3 puffs of my gas and air, and all these people ran into the room. I had an oxygen mask put on my face to give her more oxygen. I had a cannula put in my arm. My legs were in stirrups. The doctor who had broken my waters was in the came in and checked me, and she went, no, you're 10 centimetres dilated, this baby's coming. And so yeah, that was it. I was like, oh my god, they're worried about her breathing. What if she's not going to get an oxygen? What if I still don't bring her baby home? That was my concern. I was worried that we were going to lose her. So obviously I didn't care about pain relief at that point. I cared about my child and getting her into the world safely. So I pushed her out. By the time this felt like minutes, but actually by the time she was born at 12 minutes past 2, so I only pushed for maybe about 35 minutes every time I had a contraction. And when she came out, Rob didn't get to cut the cord. Our birth plan just went to pot because she was slightly blue. She needed a little bit of oxygen, I believe. But she was absolutely fine. She just needed a tiny bit of help. But they had to cut her a cord, and the neonatal doctors had to just check her over and make sure she was okay. And she was absolutely fine. She came straight onto my chest once I'd been stitched up, because I did have a 2nd-degree tear. But it wasn't as traumatic as what I thought it was going to be. I honestly thought like I was going to feel like I was being ripped from the inside outwards, and my internal organs were being dragged out of me through my vagina. Sorry if that's a bit graphic, but that's honestly how I felt it was going to happen. What my head was telling me was going to happen. And actually, what actually happened was a lot less worse. I didn't feel any pain when I was pushing because I was that concerned about her. I did have some stitches. I had a 2nd-degree tear, but it was absolutely fine. Afterwards, it was okay. But she was absolutely fine. We got our skin to skin. My mum missed the entire thing because Robert rang her at 1:30, said, Lisa's 6 centimetres dilated, you need to get here quick, you need to get here soon. She's progressed quite quickly. So they got out of bed, my dad and my mum got out of bed, got in the car, obviously got dressed and stuff, got in the car, and by the time my mum got let into the maternity unit, because all the midwives were in with me, sorting me out because they'd pressed the panic bell, nobody had gone to answer the front door, and because it was 2 o'clock in the morning, they couldn't just let anyone walk in. So my mum was like sitting outside going, I want to be let in, my daughter's having a baby. But she missed the entire thing. But Willow was here, she was here safe. She was £8.10 when she was born, and she's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, right, I'm going to stop this video. I'm going to say thank you very much for watching, and I'm going to record a third one, and I'm going to actually show you her in the next video. Alright then guys, thanks for watching, take care, bye.